Hello, Kubota-san. Hello, Yari. Thanks for joining.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Bonjour.
Although lately I've been learning German instead of French, but anyway, I've been in Suisse Romand, I don't know,
Okay.
like 17 years or so.
Okay. Hello, Masahiro-san.
Hi. Hello.
Okay, let's wait one more minute to see if other people join. Okay, so let us start. So I will share my screen. Yes, so first thing I wanted to discuss with you is the fact that in India they have published recently in October their technical guidelines on SBOM. So I don't know if you had time to have a look at it. So it was created by the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, and it is mostly focused on the use of SBOMs for security. It is also mostly aimed at the public sector in India. So I will not go through the whole document, but what I have been a bit surprised is that they have a very big list of mandatory fields. In chapter 4, section 4.1, they list what they call the minimum elements of SBOM, and it's a much bigger list than the NTIA minimum elements, because we have 21 minimum elements, which is really big. And honestly, I don't know if it's really possible to do this. For instance, they require the end of life date for a component, but I don't see how you can fill these fields. You don't you don't necessarily know when the component will be terminated.
Yeah, I think like this end of life is one of the things that caught my eye as well, because I think I read it, right after it was published. So I don't remember everything, but there are like some components from some big players where they said, okay, this is valid until, some date in the future, but most, they don't have it. So, it's interesting how they're going to, fulfill this requirement.
Yeah, so that seems having so many minimum elements seems
Yeah.
a bit strange. I don't know what others think of that. Kobota-san, do you have an opinion on this list?
Yes. Hello, and I finished my work, and EOL also required by IMDR FDA. So I write in chat box. In medical industry, we should implement such field. But on the other hand, about the party status, there are no field. As far as I know, there are no field in both SPDX and Cyclone DX. So it's not. This definition is not. Doesn't have reality for me, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I don't think are there any tools that provide end of life field?
Yes, I agree.
Because I think Angular is one that fairly clearly says that until which date a version is valid, and then I guess one can consider that as end of life. But yeah, then that's the only one I know.
Okay. So that was my main my main concern about this document. So apart from that, what they also describe is the level of the level. I don't remember where it is, but they describe the level at which the S-bomb is made. Um, whether you only describe the content of your software, or at which level you describe the other components which are dependent on your software. So this is they describe it in a bit in the same way as the German BSI document. Okay, so do you think we should send some comments to the document? Hello, Jimmy.
Hello, sorry for being late.
Yes, no problem. So I was showing the SBOM guidelines that have been published recently by the Indian government. And we were discussing the fact that they have a long list of 21 minimum elements of an SBOM, and some of them don't seem to be very realistic. Okay, any other comments on this?
Well, one thing that this page that's now on the screen, it says like document baseline information about each component that should be tracked. So it should, not must, word used there.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's some flexibility there. The overview, the second column.
Yes, I was thinking about yes, but I think the should is about do I include this component or not in my SBOM? But if I include it, if I include the component, I should have these fields, I suppose. But well, we can.
Yeah, some wording semantics there that, but what's really the requirement, the kind of the must part, but.
Okay, so do you think we should send some comments or?
Can I ask one question about this guideline? Do you know if this guideline has any effect on the regulation or some kind of India industry? Do you have any information?
Yes, it's written here. They say it's guidelines, so it's not. It doesn't seem to be a law. It doesn't seem to be mandatory, and they say it's for the public sector, the government, essential services, and then software industry. So the first audience is for public sector, and well, I don't say it's mandatory. They say organizations are encouraged to make the creation and provision of SBOM mandatory, but they are not forced to do so. So,
Sure, thank you. Understood. Okay, thank you.
okay. Yes. So that was the first topic of this meeting. Then the second thing I wanted to discuss today is some improvements that can be done to the OpenChain Telco SBOM guide. So we have at Nokia we have done some experiments and tested the output of some tools to see if they are compliant with the telco guidelines, and so we have some proposals to update the guide and to make a version 1.1. So it's not urgent. I want to give some time to the community to see what improvements we can do. So I have created some issues, and I have created some pull requests, so we can check these and discuss. Yes, Jimmy, you want to say something?
No, I didn't want to interrupt, but since I did anyway. So for this afternoon meeting, I know that some from my North American team will join, because sort of also in our own implementation of this, we have come to some things that we'd like to discuss. Among them, I think it's fairly similar in the sense that it was both the hash and the Perl identifier. We had some implementation thingies with that we'd like to discuss, but the team responsible for implementing that will join us this afternoon. Just flagging that. So at least I know there will be a discussion this afternoon on those.
Yeah. As I said, we are not in a hurry. So I just wanted to show you what issues and what proposals we have at Nokia, but we don't need to have a decision now. So the most no, okay, not this one. Okay, so it's the thing we noticed is the way to provide the component hash. So we said currently in the guide that we require the packet checksum, which is the SPDX expression of the hash, but in fact there is also another way to do it. It's the package verification code, and we have seen that Yocto provides this packet verification code because it analyzes all files, and so the recommendation is to allow both the verification code and the packet checksum. And this should be consistent with what was recently published by CISA. They have released the third edition of the common SBOM materials. So if I go to the pull request, so here I remove the packet checksum from the list of mandatory fields, and I say after that one of the two attributes is mandatory, and in the explanation I say that component hash from NTIA maps to package checksum or verification code, and I add the reference to the CISA document. So, any objection or comment on this?
One comment that I received internally and probably will be discussed more detail this afternoon is if we don't have a hash sum, or someone can't generate a hash sum, how to deal with that situation. I think Yocto was such an example but that sort of solved with packet verification code. But even in other cases, if someone doesn't have that or can't provide that, how should that value be added? Because if we look at the SPDX standard, it doesn't have a value for no assert or similar. So that was a question raised.
Yeah. Yes, in fact, if you check if you check the NTIA minimum elements, they say it's recommended. Let me check. We have it in the rational. Component hash is recommended but not required by NTIA minimum elements. So here, yes, I agree that there is no assertion value. So perhaps we can relax that and
maybe say that it's mandatory when it's available or when it's possible to provide it, or make it or mandatory when it exists.
Yeah. So
generated.
Okay, that's a good point. I had also thought of making it a should instead of a must. So yeah, so I keep that in mind, and yes, we can discuss it again this afternoon.
Yeah, and like Jimmy, you say that basically, one can generate the hash, fairly easily, but what's the value of that? Because, if you have the package already and then you generate the hash, then how do you know that it's kind of the original, the package you want really to hash? Because the idea of the hash is that you can make sure that you have the package you really think that you have.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they say it's to be able to guarantee that the package has not been modified, and
Yeah.
you really have the exact version of the package. But well, I was at a conference in Paris. An open source conference in Paris yesterday and the day before. So that's why this meeting is on Friday. And I met with Philippe Ombredan, who is the creator of the scan code tool and other tools for open source. And I discussed this point with him, and well, he had some doubt on the usefulness of this field. He said that the way it is defined in SPDX is a bit fragile because you compute the hash of every file in the package, and then you combine all these hashes into a new hash. But he says that, for instance, if you take the same package and you calculate the hash on Unix, Linux on one side, and on the other side on Windows, you might get a different value because the encoding of the file might not be exactly the same because of the end of lines and things like that. So, well, he has some doubts on the validity and usefulness of this field. So perhaps we can make it a should and not something mandatory. Okay, then the Other things are a bit less important, but more than like a housekeeping of the field. So we had made the field file analyzed mandatory. File analyzed is a boolean that tells you whether you have analyzed at the package level only, or if you have analyzed the files present in the package. What SPDX standards say is that you can omit this field, and if it is omitted, it means it's equivalent of the default value that is true. And also we had this issue in with Yocto, because Yocto analyzes at file level but doesn't provide this field and assumes that it is true. So I propose to remove this from the mandatory fields. It's really not necessary. My idea when putting this field was that in most cases we stay at package level, and so we have to put it to false. But well, to be compatible with Yocto, I propose to remove that.
Just a question, like, then in the document, should we kind of state that the default is, you know, true somehow if it's not present, the files analyzed field?
Yes. Okay.
To make it clear.
Okay.
Because most likely, or I just assume that not everybody will read the SPDX
Yes, but,
into that detail, the specification.
Okay. Yes, then minor modification in the document, in the guide we say that package license concluded and declared are mandatory in SPDX. So so in fact this is true in SPDX 2.2, which was our focus when we started the document, but since we allow both the SPDX 2.2, that is the ISO version, and now also SPDX 2.3. In fact, it's not mandatory in 2.3. What 2.3 standard says is that if it's not present, it's equivalent to say to say no assertion for these two fields. So here's a pull request is just to say that to add that these fields are mandatory in SPDX 2.2. But I still think it's better for us to still require these fields. Then we have a paragraph about merge tool, and we gave as an example SBOM Composer as a tool to merge several SBOMs into one, and in fact, until recently, I had not found a very good a tool to merge SBOMs, but now there is a tool provided by interlinked company that is called SBOM ASM, and this I have extensively tested this tool. I have filed many bugs about invalid SPDX being generated, and they fixed that. So for the moment, it's what I consider the best tool for merging SBOMs. So I have just proposed to replace in the in the example we give to put this tool's name instead of the previous one.
Mark-Etienne, just a
yes.
quick question, like with whom from Interlink you been in contact with?
Several persons.
Okay.
I was in Vienna in the Open Source Summit Europe, and I met someone from Interlink, and okay, sorry, I don't remember
Was it Surendra? I think he's CEO.
Yes, perhaps I can check. I will put in
Okay,
the
yeah,
mail.
no worries, you know. No, just like out of curiosity, because I had like a couple of calls and I gave some feedback, you know, of the tool, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or so.
Okay. Yes, and I discussed also with some developers. If you you go to that. Yes, there is. Well, I still have one complaint about the tool, is that if they when they create the merge SBOM, it happens that if you have the same package in different SBOMs that you merge, you get these identical packages several times, and I did that on some real world example, and in fact I have many duplicates. So that's currently my last request on that, and they told me that they have implemented this for CycloneDX, and they have plans to do it for SPDX. But what I wanted to show, if I check, yes, I had. You see, I had several. I had several issues on the fact that SPDX was not fully valid when it's generated, but so that was mostly in July, and well, I was really impressed on the fact that they did fix the bugs quite fast. Okay, so yes, and last thing I had filed is a bit of a small inconsistency. We say that the external ref is required to be able to put the package URL, but we say only that the package should be identified by a Perl. So this is a bit inconsistent. So what I want to change is to remove external ref from the list of mandatory fields and say if the Perl is present, it should be put in external ref. Okay, so Jimmy, you had also concerns about this Perl?
Well, my colleagues had, and I will admit I did not fully understand the concern. I just know that they raised some, so I have nothing further to add right now.
Okay, we will discuss this afternoon. Okay, so yes.
So about this external ref, due to my mistake, I dropped the description to the Japanese translation version. So I will update after when the whole document is updated.
Yes. So what I have done for the moment, I created I copied the English version to a 1.1 draft, and I will be doing the modifications there, and so we are not in a hurry to publish this 1.1. I want to give everyone the time to see if we have other modifications to do, and for the modification I have proposed for the moment are to relax some fields that were mandatory in version 1.0. So it will be compatible in the sense that every SBOM that conforms to 1.0 will also conform to 1.1. So it should be compatible. The reverse will not be true because we have some fields that are mandatory in 1.0 that are not mandatory in 1.1. But so if you still want to keep 1.0 as a reference, you will also be 1.1 compatible. Okay, so any comments, any other things you would like to discuss?
So can I? One comment? No,
Yeah.
just one issue. So the create a comment field in section 3.5 Telco guide. So if I am wrong, then I apologize. So I think the create a common field is option by SPDX 2.2 and 2.3 in section 3.5.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, here. So S1 build information should include in the create a common field is described here. So, but I think the create a common field is option by SPDX 2.2.2 and 2.3. So if someone feel that create a common field about by the other information, I think that may not necessarily be used for SBOM build information. So just one idea might be a description of what to do in case where other information is already in the create a common field. How do you think?
I'm sorry. I'm not sure I understand your point.
So
Okay.
So I will write down the new issue, another issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, so if no other topics to discuss, we can close the call. So we will have the second session this afternoon Europe, and I will send my notes as usual. So thank you all for joining, and we will continue the discussion on the mailing list if needed, and we will join again in January.
Sorry, since I was late, did we have I think Kubota-san sent something into the mailing list. Have we looked at that? Or will we do that during next month's meeting?
Okay. No, I didn't check that. I was away yesterday and the day before.
Yeah, I think it was sent 6 a.m. today. I don't know if Kubota-san, since you are online, if maybe you would like to present it, or we can do it at a later date. Either is fine. But I realize you might not have seen it already, since it was only sent a few hours ago.
Okay, yeah, I hadn't seen. Yeah, I hadn't seen that. Okay, yeah, I will. Sorry, I stopped sharing. I can share again.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
Can you comment?
Yeah, this is just a preliminary draft and a proposal. As I and as we discussed, telco guide is a very good starting point, and I'd like to create more industry neutral and format neutral SBOM guide. So I derived from the Telco SBOM guide and to add some field or some contents description. So if I appreciate it if you share your thoughts and comment or suggestions and so on. And in Japanese SBOM groups discuss there are many issues when we are now implementing SBOM operations and SBOM's creation and operation systems. So for improving this situation, we'd like to discuss among the several people tackling with several SBOM issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, in the TBD part, it's it's a discussion whether the security information should be included in the SBOM or not, or it should be put in another document. If you check the German BSI guide, they say that the security information must not be present in the SBOM. That it should be separated because the SBOM of a software version must be stable and must not be changed over time, as the description of the software should be always the same, and if you include some security information, the VSBOM will change over time. So it's it's something where people have different opinions. So that can be discussed. About the other SBOM types, we didn't include it for the moment, but that can also be discussed. So thank you for your contribution. We can discuss that.
Well, we just have like few minutes left, but do you remember if the Indian guide said anything about the CVEs or vulnerabilities and SBOMs? Because I can't remember now out of my head.
I think discuss it because as we said, it's a guide that is published by the Computer Emergency Response Team. So their aim is more on the security aspect than on the license compliance aspect of the SBOM. So you have.
But I guess the question is if the VEX is embedded into the SBOM or not, like the Cyclone DX, for example, can have that kind of embedded. I'm just thinking, like in Germany, there are like 100 million people. In India, there's 1.4 billion people.
So if you check the list of mandatory data fields, you have vulnerabilities. So more details than that I cannot say. I have to read it in more detail.
Okay, thanks a lot. Merci beaucoup, monsieur.
You're welcome. Okay, so a productive meeting today. We discussed many topics. So thank you again for joining, and so we'll have the second session this afternoon, and I will send summary notes for both meetings. So thank you all. Talk to you next week.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur, et bon weekend.
Merci.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bon weekend.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.